Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Columbus Business First and Dawson, I want to thank you for joining us today for this Central Ohio Workforce Summit. As we all know, the workforce remains at the top of the list of hot topics for business leaders in Central Ohio and beyond. Companies of all sizes are having to get creative in recruiting and retaining employees. It is events like this that help us get a clearer view of what is happening in the business community and how our most progressive business leaders are thinking about this problem and acting in this environment. So now to kick us off, it's my pleasure to introduce this morning's keynote. Please welcome Ulla Snow.
Thank you, Nick. It is an honor and a privilege to be here and talk to you today. So let's get to a couple of my favorite topics. So I want to say that in the areas of diversity, equity, inclusion, we know that there's a lot of conversations about this in the current external client. And our board of directors, our executive committee, every lawyer in the room obviously has been front and center to talk about our DE&I strategy. We believe at Cardinal Health that DE&I is fundamentally part of our culture, as do our board of directors, and as does our executive committee. So regardless of background, experience, et cetera, one of our core values is inclusion, and we want to be truly inclusive and understand what barriers are out there that are preventing our employees from being the best. As Nick said, we want to create an environment where people can bring 100% of themselves to work every day. We believe that builds trust, and we believe that employees that can be themselves can absolutely do their best work. At Cardinal Health, just like you, we provide a variety of services and programs that help our employees thrive in the mental health space. Although we've increased our EAP and we have a global EAP, we also added our Headspace app that helps employees with meditation and relaxation. And we increased training in this area to include mental health first aid and QPR training. And I will say that our programs are core. We have many more benefits that we could talk about, but our programs and our benefits are core. But I believe that those programs cannot reach their fullest potential if you don't create a culture supporting and encourages employees that take advantage of those resources. You need to encourage them to reach out when they need help and know that it's okay to not be okay. Because if you don't have this culture, stigma will take over these programs and they will be unused. So building a culture where it's okay to not be okay. And as I said, we want our employees to show up with 100% of themselves. And sometimes you may only get 85% of me. And that's okay. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure now to introduce you to our panel of experts. Dave Kofer, Stephanie Hightower, Nick Jones, and Doug McCullough. And our moderator, Becky Fromkes. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for being here.
Good morning, everyone.
We have a broken economy, not broken, but outdated. We have an economic system that says, here's a set of skills we need. Here's how it is described. Here's training that would get people to this. And then we put people through that training and we offer them to that market for those skills. And by the time we get to step 5, step 1 has changed. And so now we have people who are newly trained and ready to enter this workforce. And that becomes an issue. The statistics that Nick read out earlier today about what the market is saying it needs is astounding, really, when you think about when we talk to our partner companies and they say, we want a diverse technical workforce that's adaptable, modular, and emotionally mature. and you know, we want all of these things. And we, as service providers, offer that up to them. And the hires are not happening. And so there's a brokenness, and it's not entirely on their side. I believe that our conversations as people who want the jobs, need the skills, as people who train the people for that or educate them, as people who hire them and make use of them, retain them, that economic cycle needs to be really revised for a modern age. We're in an age of AI now. Why are we doing skills acquisition the way we did it 30 years ago, 50 years ago, right? Resume, degree, interview, you know, what are we doing? You know, I mean, we're in a place now that we need skills that are 12 weeks old. So we need to have a process by which people who are already working are adjacent to those things. So,
you know, there still is the technology issue and gap for a lot of our urban
families and communities. And so when we talk about how we expect people to apply, how we to get in systems, they don't have access to do that. Folks want to work, they want to be productive, but the way the systems operate today really does not afford them the opportunity. And so we have to be mindful again of those barriers, that if we're really talking about equity, we have to understand what those barriers are to be able to get the skill gap closed so that people can be successful.
So we have hundreds of people from the South Side that apply for jobs to the hospital that don't get offered jobs. So what we did is we reached out to that list of folks that interviewed for jobs or applied for jobs and said, hey, we're reaching back out because we want to help you get that job here at the hospital. So let's see what happened. A lot of times that was due to just not having an actual face-to-face engagement with somebody on our HR team. Everybody went through our algorithm. Everybody did our online application process. So they got brought in and they were meeting with our HR team. They were receiving training that we had to offer that would prepare them for that job. And then we engaged them in career pathway programming that said, hey, the win is not the first job. The win is what are we doing beyond that? What training are we providing beyond that? How are we partnering with Columbus State to pay for certification courses that can prepare them for other real livable wage opportunities that helps them advance and really establishes their career?
Invite them into your workplaces now, right? Whether it's President Hightower's participants in the youth development programs, whether it's participants in Nick's program and or Doug's program, inviting them into your workforce now I would advocate for paid workplace-based experiences. That is the best opportunity because it does a couple of things, right? First, it introduces them to their future aspirations. It introduces you to the talent that will be coming into your talent pipelines. And it addresses one of the points so very important that President Hightower spoke to about raising awareness about the possibilities. If I'm unaware of it, how can I aspire to be it? And so that seeing it, experiencing it goes a long way in closing the gap around the opportunities that await us both in the near and long term.
This morning's summit has been a true testament to our shared responsibility to address these pressing workforce challenges. So I hope that we can all leave today really with just a renowned commitment to action. Our community is fortunate to have inspiring leaders promoting constructive transformation in the workforce landscape.